Hello everyone and welcome back to Kinkoi, Ella's Route, home of the heavily edited shower scenes. It had been a week since I'd become lovers with Ella. Now that the initial shock had died down, the others had started to treat our relationship as if it were only normal. From what we saw in Twister, that's right, word had begun to spread of Ella's new relationship, and the peep shots had all but stopped. We couldn't let our guard down yet, but it was probably safe to assume we'd achieved our first goal. As for fencing, it was going fantastically. That obviously went for Ella, but her spiritedness spurred the other members' enthusiasm in kind. From what I'd heard, their stellar performance had made it difficult to choose who would participate in the competition, and their advisor cried out with delight from the sidelines. As for me,
全然ダメ。やる気あるの市松。
not really. Yeah.
ちょっと打ち合ってみるわよ。ふ抜けてたら校庭ダッシュさせるから。
I mean, that doesn't sound that bad. We've done worse for Akane. Yep, I guess that means I can't lose. Ah. What do the rules say you should do when you knock your opponent's weapon away?
1週間で私らより強くなったかも。
Who would have guessed I have a natural affinity for fencing?
私らが下手なのを差し引いてもすごいね。
You okay?
でも全然ダメ。顔がダメだし、なんかダメ。なんとなく。
Not a very compelling argument when I knocked your weapon away, but, you know, if it makes you feel better, fine. Sure. This was getting relatively easier. A lot had changed recently. Hey. That's not exactly a warm greeting. It's been a while, huh?
そっちあんまり屋上来なくなったからな。
Yeah, since I'm dating Ella.
もう来なくていいぞ。
Well, no, that's not what that means. Her cool-headed nature made me feel kind of alienated. I mean, it makes sense considering we're going against her well-laid plans. Surely you could tell that it wasn't especially awkward between us, just that we had fewer opportunities to meet up and hang out. That was mostly due to my spending so much time with Ella lately.
お待たせしました。
Why don't we head back? Having her stop by on the way home also had become routine. I wonder what we're having today.
あまり期待されても困りますが。
Why not? You've set the bar really high.
ベーコンを燻製にしておいたのです。今日はこれで。
There you go. Oh, smoked. Exotic.
あと、シシャモも。日本ではシシャモはおかずだそうですので、白米と一緒に食べましょう。
Oh, this is making me hungry. Sounds great. I've never had smoked shishamo before. I hope I said that right. Seems fishy to me, though. Shishamo is more like an appetizer than a side dish.
シシャモが魚なのは言うまでもないのでは？
Is that a joke? Did you just make a joke? Our conversation remained light and breezy all the way home. And...
では、シャワー借りますね。
Oh, we do get more of those. Sure. Her bathing at my place had also become part of our routine. It was because of Ella's presence that we added a new appliance to the dorm. A new appliance. Specifically, a blow dryer. Oh. Okay, that makes sense. I'd never owned such a trendy gadget before, but I bought the one Reina picked out for me. It was on Sortilege's dime, though. I was about to say, we have barely utilized the black card, so why not? The overall style of the hairdryer seemed more appropriate for a woman, but I didn't especially mind it. given that it would primarily be used by a woman.
いただきました。
That was really fast. Yeah. Ella had gotten into the habit of taking a shower here. And at this point, she'd gone so far as to bring a change of clothes with her. And... Make yourself comfortable over here, then.
え、
We needed to fry the smoked bacon first before we could eat dinner, but we had a few minutes before that was necessary. Time to dry her hair. Oh yeah, that's right. I gently brushed her hair with a comb and swept the air from the blow dryer through it, just like Reina had taught me. Even though Ella honestly could have done this on her own, neither of us brought it up. Both of us had fun doing it, and we'd come to an unspoken understanding. A sweet fragrance wafted from Ella's clean body, and the wind from the dryer sent it whirling into the air. As such, her golden hair flowed freely behind her. Her hair had an almost silk-like quality as I brushed my fingers through it. Your hair is really beautiful.
そうですか？この1週間で朝櫛の滑りが良くなった気がします。オーロのおかげでしょうか。
I know what we're doing for expert planning, hairstyling. That's because I'm doing as much as I can on a technical level. I made sure to do some level of research to prevent her hair from getting damaged.
それに何より気持ちいい。オーロの指はとても気持ちがいいです。
Aren't you glad you didn't chop our arm off? Same here. Touching Ella's hair felt wonderful. How should I put this? Our time together felt rich. It was just the two of us. Was it because we were pretending to be boyfriend and girlfriend? I wasn't sure. Besides, for today...
あら、なんだか美味しそうな香り。
Welcome. We couldn't be alone forever. This was the day when Mina-chan would come over to eat. We decided to call it good now that her hair was dry and ate dinner. It was oddly embarrassing to be completely alone with Ella, so having Mina-chan come over once in a while helped to set a better tone. Namely because we could say we weren't having dinner alone together, but rather we were only alone since Mina-chan couldn't make it. Was I being too self-conscious? Yeah, definitely.
本日は、あら、燻製。また手のかかることを。
That's how Ella is. She doesn't half-ass.
あ、でもご飯ありですのね。ちょうどよろしくてよ。
Mina-chan brought something along to contribute to dinner in her own way.
本日はおみおつけを持ってまいりましたの。
Omiotsuke. Just in case I have to repeat that, I'm gonna say it now.
おみおつけ？
Miso soup. What great timing. Going with Japanese-themed dishes had panned out well today.
先日、1年は調理実習がございまして、初めて作りましたの。
Okay.
おみおつけ自体初めていただいたけれど、感動しましたわ。日本のスープは侮れませんわね。味噌スープのことをおみおつけというのですか？知りませんでした。漢字で書くとすごいんですのよ。おみおつけ。最初冗談かと思いましたわ。
The word of the day is omiotsuke. Every time we hear it, it's going to be like Pee-wee's Playhouse. That's surprising trivia, even for Japanese people. I opened the lid. A wonderfully tranquil aroma wafted outward. This smell. Red miso soup?
赤7白3です。この配合がベストだと教わりましたわ。だしはカツオと昆布を5対5。具にはネギとお揚げ。お豆腐も欲しかったですけど、残念ながらこの量では手に入りませんでした。
Didn't sound like she could get that much of an assortment through delivery. Pretty outstanding, though. Her obsession with the broth and miso, that was. Even the majority of Japanese people got by with instant these days. It sure has been ages since I've had miso soup. Thank you for the meal. We promptly took our seats and put our hands together. First, the miso soup.
いかがです？感想を言いなさいな。
This is my impression. You don't compliment miso soup with a hearty delicious. A good is the most impressive impression miso soup can get.
もう、なるほど。日本のわびさびですわね。
Sure, let's say that.
オーロ、こっちはどうでしょう？
Somebody's getting jealous. Oh, sorry. Rice, miso soup, and an assortment of side dishes. Given this spread, I just so happened to start with miso soup for whatever reason. I moved along to the side dishes Ella made, specifically the stir-fry of smoked bacon and spinach. Oh, that sounds so good. Oh. Yeah, delicious.
よかった。あらあら。
Smoked food really is nice on occasion. It's amazing how much better it tastes, too. Whoa, the sashimo and eggs are outstanding.
あら、ほんと。いいのを引きましたわね、ロイナ。
妃殿から良いという魚屋さんを聞いて行ってみました。目利きには多少自信があります。
Interesting. I wouldn't have expected Reina to be in good graces with a fishmonger. Wow.
わざわざ買いに？
You're awesome, Ella. You can tell that the fish is really high quality.
はい。行軍中は食料確保も大切ですので、自然と食材の良し悪しが頭に入ってしまうのです。
Wow.
食いつくところはそこじゃありませんでしょう。鈍いですわね。
Yeah, it's kind of our thing. It's a little far, but there's a gigantic marketplace where you can get fish wholesale at Hamamatsu Lake. Why don't we go there next time? Knowing you, I'm sure you'll spot something fantastic.
お任せください。
Fish date! Looking forward to it. Right, Mina-chan?
はあ。はいはい。そうですわね。鈍ゲロ。
There's the episode title. Huh? I wonder why she upgraded or downgraded me?
まだまだあります。たくさん食べてください。
It's okay, Ella's not the type to get hung up on that kind of thing. Of course. We shared another lovely dinner together. Thanks a bunch for the meal. We cleaned up the remnants of our dinner. It was around 8 o'clock when Mina-chan returned to her dorm room, leaving Ella and me alone. Did we have any homework or anything today?
特には。今日の授業の復習でもします？私教えますが。
Well, no, but it breaks the tension. Well, I'm all set on that.
そうですか。
Time seemed to slow down to a crawl. Normally, she would start getting ready to go home around this time of night. After all, she hadn't given up her role as Sylvie's attendant, and she needed to get back to her professional responsibilities. However, I'd heard Sylvie was visiting some sick patients at the hospital as part of her princessly duties today. Other members of the Imperial Knights were assigned as Sylvie's bodyguards, and that left Ella to do as she wished during that time. As such, that meant she could stay here longer. I wouldn't have minded if she decided to go home, but she remained planted in place and didn't get up to leave. I wasn't about to rush her out the door either. Not because I had anything I wanted to talk about. Heck, I'd been hard-pressed to come up with any topics of discussion for a while now. Even so, the silence didn't feel awkward in the slightest. In fact, I'd love it if this comfortable silence continued. But...
Heroina!
Mina-chan, who had left a half hour ago, rushed her way in.
いかがされました？
あ あなた、お姉様の護衛の引き継ぎ、エキスナにやっておくよう任せましたでしょ？
What did she do?
はい。それが何か？
エキスナが旧来の騎士隊配分で調整したせいで、何人か私とお姉様で10時がブッキングしてますわ。さっきから確認の電話がうるさいです。
Oh boy.
エキスナが？おかしいな。新しいものに変えたはず。
言い訳は結構。責任者はあなたでしょ？シスア家に知られたらことですわよ。各団員が騒ぎ出す前に調整してらっしゃい。
は、申し訳ありませんでした。
Ella reverted to her usual self, gave me a signal with her eyes, and rushed out of the room. Thanks. So, that's how our date was going to end, huh? What a shame. And if that were the case, is something wrong with Ella?
どうもしませんわ、エロイナは。ただエロイナがお姉様の護衛を任せた部下が配置図をちょっと勘違いしましたの。それで護衛体系に混乱が出た程度ですわ。
I really hate how Mina has those pauses in her lines. I don't know how much of that commentary I've cut in the past, but I always have trouble with her lines. It's gotten a lot better in the fan disc. Just weird pauses in the middle. But at any rate, I wonder, it's amazing to me how, for lack of a better word, incompetent the guards are without Ella guiding them. Shows you how important she is, though. Ah, so it's not like Ella herself messed up. The same as last time?
部下のミスはエロイナのミスです。
Oof. She's so strict.
些細な伝達ミスです。今この瞬間、私やお姉様にテロリストが襲ってきたら大問題に発展しますが、でなくば問題はありません。
Is that a recurring problem? How many times have there been terrorist incidents in the past?
が、シスア家の王女私に従事する人間をお姉様に回した。この構図が成り立つのは事実。騎士院派にとっては、あまりよろしくない事態であることは間違いございませんわね。
While we're addressing these, can you explain how many factions there are, please? Huh? What did she mean? Aren't the knights close to you and the other members of the royal family? That was my guess based on what she was saying. The look on Mina-chan's face momentarily suggested that I said something uncalled for, and...
仲が良くないという表現はそぐいませんわね。騎士院は私にとって重木、家臣ですもの。
Oh, okay, I get where this is going, because we have confusion about the relationship with Ella-san. Oh no, I've reverted.
まあ、であっても、大人の世界というものは、他人のミスには厳しくできているものなのです。お子様には分からなくて結構ですわ。
You're a year younger than me. I'm older than you, though.
あらそう。忘れてましたわ。
Okay, it's kind of annoying how you say that with that smile.
もう少し年上になれたら、細かい事情も話して差し上げますのに。
Okay, just keep on squeezing that lemon into the wound, why don't you? You were so cute when you went, Oni-chan, Oni-chan, the other day, too.
古い話はおよしなさい!
And yet I shall never forget. The conversation went off the rails from there. Even though Mina-chan didn't share everything with me, it seemed as though Ella, the Imperial Knights, and the royal family weren't as close as Ella and Sylvie themselves were. Gee, I wonder why. So the royal family visits six? Specifically 6 sick patients. So the royal family visits sick patients at the hospital and stuff too?
王室の本質は弱者の救済よ。経済も、そして心も。偉いでしょう。
Super impressive.
でも、昨日は大変だったわ。日本人は元気がないって言うけれど、日本の病院の子供たちはものすごく元気よね。
Yeah, kids do that. Yeah. Energy is one thing children have, even when they're sick.
ねえ、オーロ。私はね、10歳からピアノを始めて、次の誕生日にはもうプロも顔負けと言われたほどの神童の名を欲しいままにしたピアニストだったの。
Humble brag, why don't you?
だから誰かに褒められることには慣れきっているの。ここ数年私が演奏をして拍手喝采にならなかった場はなかったのよ。
Are you bragging? I was sure it was true.
でもね、それでも私まだ褒められ足りなかったみたいよ。う
Did yesterday not go well?
まくいったのよ。慰問して主催者の言うようピアノ演奏をプレゼントして、演奏自体は完璧だったの。
You miss Ella, is that the problem? Oh, no, wait, the guard situation. That's probably what it is.
でもあの子たちポカーンとしてたの。
Oh, yeah, that's normal.
その後お遊びで弾いた猫踏んじゃったの方がみんな盛り上がっていたの。あんな人差し指だけでピンポンやるので。
Kids might be too young to appreciate classical.
我ながらプライドが高かったみたいね。私こんなにプライドを傷つけられたのは初めてよ。
Oh, kids are good at that. Well, hey, that's not such a bad thing. Then?
おはようございます。
Morning. Oh. That was when I noticed Ella had shown up to school much later than Sylvie. Even though they often went home separately, they always came to school together every morning. What could have happened?
しけ。
She stifled her yawn. This too was unusual. She was usually so on point.
やっぱり眠い？昨日はお疲れ様。
いえ、私の失態でした。ご迷惑をおかけします。
Two very different approaches from two very different princesses. Oh, yesterday. Did you have a hard time resolving that miscommunication issue?
報告書の山よ。別に焦らなくていいのに、エルったら昨日一晩で終わらせようとするから。
Ooh.
詳細を記録するには時間を空けないことが肝要ですから。
Her response suggested she didn't get enough sleep last night. So, how did everything go afterward, with assigning the guards or whatever it was? I had only gotten a half-hearted explanation from Mina-chan. Ella-san didn't sound like she wanted to elaborate much either, but I could lean on our happy-go-lucky princess at times like these.
大したことではないわ。そのままミナの警護をしているはずの人間が私の警護も命じられて連絡が混乱しただけ。すぐに増員して両方の警護は抜かりなかったから、問題と呼べる問題は出ていないわ。その分始末書の束が配置の責任者である L だけに行ってしまったというだけ。
She needs a second in command really badly. Boralcoche, we need you!
不覚です。今後気をつけねば。
もう L のミスではないんだから気にしても仕方ないわ。お疲れ様とは思うけど。
Coupled with what Mina-chan told me yesterday, there didn't appear to be any issues. Just assorted discord between the aforementioned knights and the royal family and so forth. All of which I'd love to ask more about, but... Assuming Ella doesn't just completely pass out. Ella looked tired, but was putting in an effort not to let it show. I would feel sorry for her, especially if I pried any further, so I decided against it.
今日のお昼はまた音楽堂に行くわ。昨日が猫踏んじゃっただった分、思いっきり弾くの。
So today you start with the flea waltz.
わかりました。
Even if they came and went to school separately, Ella was glued to Sylvie until the club started that afternoon. They were obviously together during lunch break too, and so... Eating lunch while listening to the piano? That does sound nice.
ようこそ、シルビア音楽祭へ。
Sweet. It was the three of us today. Gotta wait for Sylvie to finish consuming half the cafeteria.
姫様、 そんなもしゃもしゃ食べるのははしたないかと。
いいの。
Sylvie practically inhaled her food. And entertained herself with the piano all she liked. I ate my meal while listening to the comforting timbre. Ella shrugged and dug into her lunch. Oh, Ella, did you use yesterday's bacon for that sandwich?
ええ。食べますか？
Yes, please. Yay! Should I share some of mine to pay you back? I made homemade sandwiches too, oddly enough.
おお、これはコンビーフ、それにマヨネーズですか。しかも野菜は一枚も挟まないのですね。
Are you really surprised by that? Also, I don't think we've heard the opening part of Sylvie's theme before. That whole... I don't know what to call it. I'm not super musically inclined, but the beginning part. An ally of the fat and unhealthy. I call it the junk sandwich.
美味しそうです。
We shared our meals with each other. We had been having dinner together for a week already. It felt familiar, even if we were eating lunch instead. I enjoyed eating lunch with Ella, as well as Sylvie's impromptu recital. Sylvie must have been frustrated after yesterday, as she played for almost 20 minutes straight. It was like she'd released all of the musical tension that had been built up inside of her. The fact that she had memorized all of that sheet music and could effortlessly play it on a whim was impressive in its own right. I mean, it is her theme. Even after we finished our meals, we had no desire to move and remained planted in our seats. Thanks, junk sandwich. And then... That was weird. Oh. The tune suddenly changed. What was this song? Compared to the other pieces she played, this one had a much quieter, yet comforting tone. Almost like a lullaby? Ah. Ah. She pulled a reverse Snorlax. Nod, nod. It went without saying. Oh, cute. Ella slumped over and leaned against my shoulder. Sylvie smiled as her fingers drifted along the piano's ivory keys.
久しぶりね。エルがこんなに好きだらけなんて。
Yeah, but I bet if a pin so much as drops in the background, she's gonna be up with a sword in hand. Really? Now that the performer had spoken up, it seemed the temporary no-talking ban had been lifted, and we spoke in hushed whispers. Oh, now you tell me. Thanks.
私を警護してるはずの時間帯に寝ちゃうなんて初めてじゃないかしら。
That's not a whisper. Huh. True enough, she was the only knight around Sylvie at the moment. I'm sure Kyoto's somewhere around here, though. It would be a pretty huge issue to nod off from something so minor. She really was cute.
でも変わらないといえば変わらないかも。小さい頃は逆にすぐ寝ちゃってたのよね。私がピアノの練習をするときよくそばにいてくれたのだけれど、聞いてるうちすぐに。
Wasn't that because of how good you were at playing the piano?
にしてもよ、ビバルディとかドボルザークとか結構激しい曲でもすぐスヤスヤだったんだから。
Oh, yeah. That happened to me all the time when I took intro to music at 8 o'clock in the morning as a freshman in college. Ugh. That's just how it goes when you're a kid. I was in my 20s. Wait, no, I wasn't. I was 18. Never mind. I believe Sylvie said that she started playing when she was 10 years old, which meant Ella-san was 11. Still young enough to have no composure when you would listen at recitals.
名誉のために言っておくと、それ以外はいつも気を張ってるコチコチではあったのよ。ピアノの演奏会の時だけは特別。おお。でも、そっか。
Hmm?
そんな 女だから、エルの寝顔を知ってるのは私だけだったのに、今オーロに知られちゃったなって。
Oh no, now she's going to have to kill us. Now that she mentioned it, when I looked to my side, Ella's ordinarily awe-inspiring expression was childishly vulnerable. Ella's sleeping face. I might be witnessing a rare sight. Like a shiny Pokemon.
エルが私以外に取られちゃったか。私だけのエルだったのに。
Uh-oh, we made Sylvie jealous. Hmm? Her voice was quieter than the piano, so I couldn't hear her. What was it? I tried to listen, but...
なんだかムカついてきたわ。
Oh no. Huh?
ほらエル、起きなさい、エル。
Oh no. Sylvie? The comfortable melody suddenly turned emphatic and disturbed Ella-san's slumber.
なかなか起きないわね。昨日よっぽど寝不足なのね。
You're not going to let her sleep at least through lunch break then?
あげない。
I didn't know what she was upset about, but Sylvie made no attempt to stop. Ella woke up. She attacked in rage.
シル、うるさい。もうちょっと寝かせて。
Syl.
あれ？あ、しまった。ついうとうと。
一瞬だけうとうとしてたわね。ちゃんと聞いてなさい、エル。
You're being harsh, Sylvie.
すいません。
Be nice. Sylvie went back to playing again. She had been too focused on the piano to have heard it, but... Syl. It appeared the princess had an even more childlike nickname. I wonder how long they had known each other. It sounded to me like they were already together by age 10, but something told me they knew each other long before then. Incidentally, the orchestral faction, was it? The Sortilège's royal family was supposed to refine their musically related knowledge from a young age. Oh, that's what it is. But wouldn't age 10 be just a little late?
カバレロ様、なんだか今日は調子が悪いみたい。お恥ずかしい。何かありまして？やはり市松が原因？殺しましょうか？
What did we do? Why are we automatically the scapegoat? I mean, they hate us, I know that, but still. I'm right here, you know.
ただの寝不足です。お気になさらず。
Was it Ichimatsu's fault? Should we still stab him anyway?
そうですか。では、寝不足？
Oh, jeez.
まさか、そういうこと？ついに一戦を？
She's not going to understand that. Ow.
どうしたのです一体？
They seem to suspect something. And then we died. You really do sound sleepy. She played off a ton of yawns as sighs for a while now. What do you want to do for dinner tonight? Maybe it'd be best to head home early and rest?
いえ、大丈夫。作りに行きます。このまま。
Please don't, you might hurt yourself. Listen.
食べてほしいのです。迷惑でしょうか。
Well, okay, now you've got us in a weird position. No, really? Feel free to help yourself.
はい。
We walked along the usual path as she made that immensely impactful comment. By the way, what's on tonight's menu?
用意の時間がなかったので、パスタにしようと思います。昨日のベーコンもまだあるので。
Hey, it's smoked bacon. I know a really good recipe for carbonara that's supposed to be good. Yeah, for sure. When you hear bacon, you really do think pasta.
日本ではカルボナーラでしたっけ？ホワイトソースと合わせるのが人気なのでしたか？
It's all come full circle. I'm not really picky, so anything works. Whatever's easiest for you to make.
はい。
Conversations like this had become perfectly natural, but also felt a little like one newlyweds might have. Well, we were lovers, so I guess it was fine. I have to do the air quotes every time. And the course of the conversation led us to... Oh yeah, about when you fell asleep this afternoon.
はい、油断しました。
I don't care, I'm not one of the princesses. She looked embarrassed. The way Ella was more concerned about leaving herself open than the newlywed variety of conversation was so like her. You called Sylvie Syl, didn't you? When you were half asleep.
嘘、本当ですか？
Really, really?
ああ、やってしまった。私としたことが。
Huh? I think it's fine, honestly. Is it an issue because of your work relationship?
もちろんです。お使いすべきお方に、そんな、もう。
I mean, nobody could hear it except for me. Even Sylvie didn't pick it up. Ella was in unusually low spirits. But the way I saw it, Sylvie didn't seem to mind it, so what's the harm? There's no real difference between whether you refer to her as Syl or Sylvie. It didn't change the fact that it was still a nickname. Or so I thought.
いえ、違います。
Hmm?
その二つは、少なくとも私とシルビー様には意味合いがだいぶ違うのです。
How so?
シルビー様と呼ぶのは、王女たるシルビア様が気を許してくださったことの証左。しかし、
Oh, it's the other way around as proof that you dropped your guard around her.
シルは、それ以前の呼び方ですので。
Ah, and now comes the ominous part. Before? Wait.
私があの方にお仕えする前、私とあの方の昔の関係です。だから、それを思い出すわけにはいかないのです。
Hmm? I didn't really understand what she was getting at. But that was when we reached the dorm, so our conversation got cut short.
どうぞ。
Ooh. Tonight's meal was simple, so it came out in no time. Ella had prepared an instant potage soup with a side salad and the spaghetti dish she had mentioned previously. Dang, she does not hold any stops. This spaghetti, what's it like? Something high class?
普通にベーコンとキャベツですが。
It doesn't have a name?
名前と言われましても、ありもののパスタです。
Japanese people just have too many fantasies about pasta. In Japan, you could throw any random seasonings and vegetables together in a don bowl and call it a dish. But Japanese people would still want some kind of name for a pasta dish like this. Mediterranean-style spaghetti with smoked bacon, charred cabbage, and white pepper. Try introducing it like that.
はい。
In a kind of hoity-toity way. This is spaghetti. Well, I screwed that up. So much for hoity-toity. It was more Porky Pig. In a kind of hoity-toity way. This is spaghettini with a smoked bacon and charred cabbage garnished with Mediterranean-style white pepper. Like that.
ベーコンヌとキャベツンヌって何です？ もういいか。こちら燻製ベーコンと焦がしキャベツのスパゲティ、ホワイトペッパー風味になります。
Ooh, I bet you could score 2,500 yen with this alone.
よくわかりません。
It's probably for the best you don't. Time to dig in.
オーロン、音を立てて食べるのははしたないです。
Mina-chan scolds me for that all the time too. But Mina-chan wasn't here today. Japanese people seriously do slurp loudly though. That's just what feels right with noodles.
そういえば、ラーメンはそうすると聞きますね。シルビー様が羨ましがっておりました。
Sylvie still can't slurp ramen?
難しいです。日本の方がどうしてあんな、こう、ズゾゾって食べれるのでしょう。
Well, it's kind of in our DNA. You did hear that all the time, how foreigners couldn't slurp their noodles. Besides, slurping is only a part of a commoner's culture. I've heard nobles can't do it either, even in Japan, but it actually serves a purpose. It cools the noodles.
そうなのですか?
Noodle slurping originated with soba. It was an impression the citizens of Edo got from growing up treating it as fast food in Kanto, soba culture especially. Soba had been called the greatest fast food in Japan, and especially in the Edo period, it was apparently the sort of food where you could eat a helping in half a minute. Ooh. That was the process by which the act of slurping came about so that it could be eaten more quickly. It was established as a part of our culture at this point, but if you traced it back to its origins, it was the improper sort of etiquette unseemly middle-aged men might practice at construction sites and the like.
へえ、元はお蕎麦。
Well, it really all started with a big bang, but, you know. Another fun theory is that the habit leapt into ramen due to the influence of manga in the 70s and 80s. Slurping was the intrinsic soba noodle eating pattern of ramen lover by the name of Koke-san, created by the two geniuses F and A. I'm sure this is a reference to something and I have no idea what it is. And so the eating style naturally stuck to ramen. But that was also why the custom of slurping wasn't associated with udon, but there are numerous theories. Of course, this was pointless trivia, which is why we spent the past 5 minutes talking about it.
面白いのですね。実は私、お蕎麦というものを食べたことがありません。
For real?
はい、興味はあるのですが。
True, soba does fit into a pretty fine category. It was neither high class nor working class sort of dish. Unless you thought to yourself something like, I could sure go for some soba, it wasn't the sort of thing you'd run into unanticipated. Foreigners didn't seem all that familiar with it. Want to get soba with me sometime then? Together, obviously. Like a date.
いいですね。二人で。
Like a date. It almost sounded like it were second nature. It's a date! There we go.
そうと決まれば、そのすするの練習をしなくては。
There's a joke there. No comment. Don't force it so much. And actually, you shouldn't slurp pasta. You eat it quietly, like this.
ずるい。
These meals together had become so familiar to us. And it was another delicious meal at that. Now then, with that... what are you going to do for your shower today? The thought had just occurred to me. Ella had prepared a simple pasta dish, so it didn't take long for us to eat. She would typically shower at my place to kill time while we waited for dinner to cook. She hadn't had time today, so she hadn't bathed yet. Heck, all that left was for her to head home, as there was no real reason for her to use my shower, but...
では今日もお借りします。
Alright. Sure. Ella headed into the bathroom like it was part of her usual routine. The more I thought about it, the more bizarre it seemed. But it didn't feel that way to us anymore. Which was why, once she got out, I got the hairdryer ready without a second thought.
よろしくお願いします。
Sure. Ella walked toward me as if this scenario were only natural. She took a seat on the bed. I turned on the dryer and proceeded to dry her hair. We'd grown accustomed to this. However, no matter how familiar it may have felt, her sugary, sweet aroma always made my heart race uncontrollably. What was our relationship at this point? We were pretending to be lovers, right? It's not like we were actually dating. Even though we were close. Even though she had let me touch her glistening hair. That didn't mean I was special to her. Ah! She fell asleep again. All of a sudden, Ella bumped into me. I quickly pulled the dryer away from her. Ella's warm, defenseless back pressed against me. Ella? I knew it. Again? Once again, she'd fallen asleep. And leaned against me. Ella had eaten a lot during both instances, so it made sense why she'd fallen asleep. Ella? It didn't look like she was going to be waking up anytime soon. Oh boy. I turned off the hairdryer. It would be a shame to wake her, so maybe I should just leave her be. I certainly didn't mind having Ella cuddled up against me, but... Slide to the left. I slowly pulled her away. Now that we were separated, I gently eased her into bed. We probably could have cuddled a little bit longer, but... No. Knock it off me. I may have not been a noble, but I was a gentleman. That is generous. For instance, a very vulnerable-looking Ella was laid out before me, dead asleep. And if my hand just so happened to reach out and give one of her boobs a quick rub, then she'd probably never notice. But she would snap on us like a Venus flytrap, I guarantee it. Or like a cat when you try to touch its belly and it said no. Not happening. I draped the comforter over her. Then I left my room with my cell phone in one hand. I let Sylvie know that Ella had fallen asleep. I really expected her to just storm in a jealous rage like in the piano recital hall.
Gero, 朝ですわよ。
Aw, I was hoping for Akane.
どうしましたのゲロ。
Oh my god, you've transformed into Ella.
ほら、起きなさいな。どうしましたのゲロ。一晩でそんなお太りに。
What did you grab? I mean, I know, but... Oh.
ヘロイナ？やっぱり朝はちょっと眠いね。
Is third-year girl A going to sit on us by accident?
気持ちですよ、気持ち。バーニングな気持ちで眠気なんて吹っ飛ばせです。
There's Akane.
茜は最近やったら元気だね。前から元気ではあったけど。
I was about to say, yeah, that's her default personality.
市松先輩が入るようになってから毎朝ラジオ体操が楽しみでしょうがないみたいです。
Oh, but we're not on your route. But we will be.
おやおやおや。
そんなことは。
でも彼、確かカバリロさんと付き合ってんだろ？
You forgot the quotation marks.
ああ、残念、あかねちん。
そんなことないですよ。先輩たちのことは応援してますから。
Senpai shipping?
だか
Pow.
ら、ソファ蹴っちゃった。
なっはっは、動揺してる動揺してる。
もう、そんなんじゃなくて。先輩？
I am Sofa.
何してるんですこんなところで。寝てたのかい？
I'd made use out of the sofa in the dorm's foyer. Even though it was a little chilly last night, the building was heated and I had a blanket.
何の騒ぎ？
Oh no.
何をしているんですか？
It's not your concern. Well...
もう一度聞きます。普段女子が足にかけるように使っているブランケットにくるまって何をしているのかしら？
Okay, why is that your first... You know what, never mind. You've got the wrong idea.
どういう誤解だって言うんです？
The worst person saw me in the worst possible situation.
今さらあんたを変態扱いする気はないけど。
Thank you, third-year girl A.
なんでこんなところで？
There were extenuating circumstances. A lot of my female dormmates were glaring at me. On second thought, maybe I shouldn't have slept out here. I was getting some weird looks from some of the girls, as well as the cafe and convenience store staff. They had me over a barrel here. How could I downplay this? Last night...
オーロ、すいません、寝てしまいました。
That's not gonna help. Ella came out of my room. And the situation just got worse. Yeah.
昨夜はエロイナさんとご一緒されたそうで。
Boy, that rumor spread fast. Yeah, and then I crashed on the couch in the foyer. That last part is really important. A social media-powered society was terrifying. The incident at the dorm this morning had already spread around campus.
エロいことは？
No. I wasn't in the room, so take a guess.
しようと思ってエルチンに叩き出された的な？
You know, and we really should have known that that's where Reina was going to go with that. I figured you'd say that, but no. I am a gentleman, and I left the room on my own. Everyone seemed to be aware that Ella had stayed the night while I crashed on the couch in the foyer, so that certainly helped alleviate potential misunderstandings among our peers. To a degree? Their glares still hurt, though.
申し訳ない。不覚でした。
You were exhausted. It happens. I'm the one who should have checked the time and woken you up sooner.
いえ、ご恋には本当に痛み入ります。
Yeah, you hear that, Sylvie? You should have let her sleep. We bowed our heads like crazy to each other. Our relationship was a bit clumsy, especially considering we were supposed to be lovers. Should I consider myself lucky? We were immediately called in for guidance counseling when the rumors got out. But since this had happened with Ella-san, the staff members couldn't be too outspoken. The students were the bigger issue. Sneak, sneak. Sneak, sneak.
あの男、ついに
You really need to chill.
でもあいつは外にいたそうよ。つまり、カバレロ様はギリセーフ。
There was no helping these girls. Yeah, no kidding. My only real choice was to ignore them and see how everything played out. In the end, I got nothing accomplished that day, so it's a normal day. Their harsh stares aside, I couldn't help but feel awful for Ella. And so, I found my way here for the first time in ages.
来なくていいのに。
Oh, what, you're gonna kick us out now? It's so cold. I'm super sensitive today, so I'd appreciate it if you were nicer to me.
優しく？難しい。人生で他人に優しくしたことって2回か3回だから。
That's technically true, I guess. Sounds like you're the one who has bigger issues here. I desperately pushed those crazy animalistic urges aside last night, but people still don't understand.
人間誰しも下水話が好きなのさ。
Especially about me.
ゲス話はより下水方へ解釈される。
Especially if it's about sleazy people. I guess even the nobles who attend Noble Academy are still human.
俺は静かにさえしてくれれば何でもいいわ。
Well, then last night should have been nice for you. Ria was her usual cool self. I really liked that about her, especially right now.
ところでお前、なんで外で寝てたの？
What, did you not get that part? Huh?
一緒のベッドは問題あるにしろ、床なりなんなり室内で寝ればよかったじゃん。
Yeah, do we never address the fact that we actually have a really sizable couch that we could sleep on? That wouldn't be a big deal. Well, not really. Ella would have been asleep right next to me. Just try and imagine someone like her, with a body like that, sleeping next to you and being completely defenseless. There was no telling when the wolf inside of me would shed its gentlemanly clothing and gobble her up. What is this, Beastars?
はあ、つまり、色気に負けそうだから一緒の部屋じゃ無理だったと。
Well, I mean, I guess Mina could have come in with a squirt bottle and that would have worked. More or less.
ふんふん、なるほど。ちょっと前に俺がお前ん家で寝ちゃった時は、誰かさん普通に床で寝てなかったか？
What did you do? Yeah, that did happen. Are you complaining that I gave up my bed and didn't lay a hand on you or something?
ち、女は所詮父かよ。
Not only. She sulked. Her cool demeanor was cute on occasion. It really wasn't a sex appeal thing with you, though. You genuinely scared me.
なんで恐怖？
I thought you were dead. You're a smoking delinquent. If I made a move on you, who's to say whether I'd get burned with a lighter or stabbed with some kind of hidden knife? Yeah, and she's a knight. Is that better?
ナイフは持ってないけど。
That we know of.
なるほどね。危険顧みず余倍に走るような大和男子にはなれなかったと。
Simply put, sure.
そう信じておこう。99% 父が理由だとしても、1% くらいはそういう理由があったかもしれない。でもさ、
Yeah?
その理由だと、よっぽどあの女の方が恐怖は強いんじゃないか？
You see, that's what I was saying.
全身狂気の騎士様だろ。
See, Ria gets it. True. But what was it? I had a feeling we'd crossed a line, one we could never come back from if I hadn't put some space in between us. My guess was, if I made a move on her, we'd have followed all the way through. That's presumptuous, but probably accurate. Ella wouldn't have resisted.
はい。ですから感動しましたわ。カバレロ様の低層観念と場に流されぬ節度に。
For a group of girls obsessed with her, they really do not understand her personality at all.
まあ、なぜあんな男の元に泊まることになったかは、ちょいと気がかりではありますが、我々には計り知れぬ事情があるのでしょう。
Yes, she was tired. She fell asleep. Very hard to imagine.
それより、いくら交際中とはいえ、婚姻前はそういうことはすべきでないと、節度を守るその誇り高さ。さすがはカバレロ様。はあ。
You could correct this.
何の話です？
I guess that works.
ですから、昨夜はあのクソ。市松くんのお部屋にお泊まりになったのでしょ？
ええ。付き合う男女が一つのお部屋で、となればまあ、ねえ。
No.
はい。
話を聞いたときは、本格的に市松くんの身長体重を調べ、そのサイズでの遺体処理方法でネット検索したものですが。
Congratulations, you're now on a watch list.
よくよく考えれば、カバレロ様がそんなこと応じるわけがないですものね。
だから何が？
ですから。
What just happened? What on earth? Phaser sounds. Yes, that's exactly what happens. Sci-fi phaser noises.
そんなわけあるか！
ですよねですよね。よかった。 私たちはその恋人となってはいますが、そういうことはその恋のその
Yeah, that's what they said.
はい。カバレロ様はそれでいいと思います。
No, they said you should be.
私たち日本人は昨今どうにも低層観念がけれどカバレロ様を見て、やはり理想は初夜まで守り抜くべきと悟りましたわ。
え？あ？そうよね。うん。初夜までね。
Well, guess there's a little bit of a difference in opinion on that one.
何あんた、もしかしてもう。
いやー、去年のクリスマスさ幼馴染と盛り上がっちゃって勢いで
そうだ、私はイスタ家を継ぐ者としてそうしたことにはいろいろとでもオーロはもっと自由にでしょうか。
Maybe don't ask them.
まあ市松くんはしたいと思ってるでしょうね。
まったく男は下劣だわ。
I think you might just be a little repressed.
カバレロ様？いえ。
Oh, Ella-san, you came again today.
はい、夕飯は約束しましたので。
I figured our plans would have fallen through after what happened this morning, but it looked like we were still on for dinner tonight. Yeah. Oh, thank goodness. Ella had spoiled me on her home-cooked meals, and it would have been depressing to suddenly go without it. Also, I don't know how to cook very well. Actually, that's not true. We did pretty well in the emergency situation, if I recall correctly. But... So, what are we having today?
作ってきました。学校の調理室で。
Oh. Huh?
すぐ食べられるので、さあ食べましょう、すぐ食べましょう。席についてください。
Sure. She quickly led me over.
パンは買ってきました。ルッコラの和え物やレバーパテ、バターやミンチなど上に乗せて食べてください。
Ew. No thank you.
あ、コーヒーはいかがです？夜なので眠れなくなりますか？ミルクも買ってきましたが。
Huh? Sure, I'll just have milk.
さあ食べましょう。どうぞ、ぐっとどうぞ。
Sure. I wasn't sure why, but I could tell Ella was acting quite strangely. Well, whatever. May as well dig in. There's the Ouro we know and... know. Nom, nom.
じ
Nom, nom, nom.
じ
Why are you staring at me? Although the butter and liver pate atop freshly made bread tasted incredible... Ugh. Sorry, I'm repulsed by liver. I couldn't really focus on my meal when I felt her eyes planted on me.
あ、試験。
Why don't you eat something?
そうですね。今日まではそうでしたね。いただきます。
Aren't you eating a little fast? You're not Sylvie. She was working through her meal in an extremely mechanical fashion and had practically inhaled the food she stuffed into her mouth. Given how strangely she was acting. Ella, do you want to go home early today by some chance?
なぜです？
You just did an excellent impression of Kirby. Because you were rushing. There may have been more to it than that, but I believe that to be the primary reason. She really wanted to hurry home. Does this have anything to do with guarding Sylvie since you've been off duty for the past couple of days?
いえ、
We gave you an out.
急いでいるわけではありません。ゆっくり夕げを楽しみましょう。
Ah, she calmed down. I still had no idea why, but she relaxed and began to eat. I had no clue what her deal was today. Oh well, time for a nice calm dinner. Ow, ow.
ルッコラ、少々多すぎましたね。
Yeah, a little bit. The arugula was sauteed specifically to put on bread, but there was too much of it considering it was only there to add aroma. It tasted fine when you ate it like a sandwich, so I wasn't especially bothered by it. I mean, arugula is really bitter.
それにパンだけというのも怠慢でした。スープの一つでも作るべきです。
You made plenty, though. Oh, now that I think about it, your cream stew was incredible. I definitely wouldn't have minded some of that.
今度作りますね。
Yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of soup. Although it didn't hold a candle to the soup Ella made, I stopped eating and rummaged through a box nearby. Hopefully not one of the ones in the background. I was pretty sure that back when I first moved into the dorm while I stocked up on cup noodles due to a lack of other food options. Here it is, instant stew. I also had enough white stew to split between 2 people. I'll make it now. Hang on a second. I went off to heat up some water.
ありがとう。私は何を慌てていたのでしょう。オーロがあんなこと求めてくるわけがない。
Never say never.
今は恋人のふりをしているだけ。彼は私のために合わせてくれているだけなのです。
That is true. I mean, dumb as he is, and he is dumb, he does have a good heart, so he is doing the right thing, or trying to anyway.
彼がそういう優しい、誠意に満ちた人間であることは、この1ヶ月でシルビー様とのご関係が証明している。それを勝手なイメージでいぶかしがるなど。
You had a little help with those impressions.
恥を知りなさい、私としたことが。
Thwomp.
と、
Oh no.
段ボールが倒れた。
It was one of the boxes.
片付けましょう。
Oh no.
この中身は
Here it comes.
触手に散る女騎士ハイロゼット。
Oh my god.
もうこれ以上触手の赤ちゃん産ませないで。
Wow, that is a title. The soup is ready.
はい、ありがとうございます。
Oh, she was acting weird again. Her strange behavior continued, even after we finished eating dinner. So, Ella, are you...
今日はこれで失礼します。失礼します。
Sure. And off she went. Well, she had nodded off after her shower yesterday, so it'd be questionable if she did the same thing 2 days in a row. I was kind of looking forward to it, though. Just ran so far away to get out of that situation.
市松オロ、なんて下劣な。
Oh, come on. You've seen our buying habits. You saw it early on in the common route.
いいな。一方的に否定するのは良くない。確かにあの性癖はどうかとは思いますが、あそこ以外、彼の良いところはいくつでも知っているのです。
Equal to or less than.
フェンシング部の内情からも、日本の男女というものは、かなりそういうことが、早いようですし、あれもまた、日本の男性のスタンダードなのやもしれない。女騎士と見れば、多くや触手の子を産む様を好むのが。ならば、それを否定することはよくありません。文化というものは理解からこそ始まる。私も彼を理解するために、まずは日本の文化を理解することに努めねば。
Oh no, is she going to start playing the games for research?
特に彼はシルビー様のご客人、主人の客人を歓待するのは私の務めでもある。
This could be hilarious if that's the case.
何より、彼を軽蔑することを私自身望んでいません。よって！
隊長、どうしました？こんなところに呼び出して。
エキスナ、来てくれましたね。
こんなアダルトショップの前に。
Oh no.
成人女性と見込んで頼みがあります。
Oh, this is awkward.
金色ラブリッチェ。
but hilarious. What she has seen cannot be unseen.
またエルチンが眠そうだ。オーロ、昨日もエロいことしたの？
Reina, you really do not help. Nah, she went home early and we haven't done anything like that. The other boarders had seen so for themselves, so there were no strange rumors floating around today. The only issue I was running into today was Ella-san acting strangely again.
すいません、寝不足です。
昨べは仕事もないのに、ずいぶんと遅くまで部屋の明かりがついていたわね。
Oh, but she did.
何時くらい？ 10 時は過ぎていたわ。遅くないわ。10時に寝てたらそっちの方が驚くわ。
This is Sylvie we're talking about.
あ、でもシルビー、そっか。何を納得したのかしら、レイナ。9時を過ぎちゃうね。シルビーちゃまには遅いでしょうね。ムッキー！私は決められたスケジュールで寝起きしてるだけで、遅くまで起きられないわけじゃないもん。
Well, we have evidence to the contrary. They continued to squawk and ramble to their heart's content. I tuned out the loudmouths and turned my attention to Ella. Are you okay, Ella? If it's too rough on you, you should head to the nurse's office. Ella would maintain her composed demeanor right up until she couldn't take it anymore, so the fact that she looked this sleepy was proof she was having a hard time. It might be a different story if she had just eaten, but I wanted to avoid her falling asleep in a strange place.
いえ、お気になさらず。確かに少々夜更かししましたが、2時には床に着きましたので。
Okay, now that is late. Well, okay, maybe not for some folks. 2, huh? Well then. That should work out to 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Definitely rough, but not so awful she'd drop on the spot.
床に着いたのは2時。嘘ではない。
But?
5時を過ぎたあたりに一瞬落ちた以外、全く寝られませんでしたが。
As your boyfriend, I'd love to ask what you were doing that whole time.
機密です。ソルティレージュの存亡に関わる、絶対に言えない、あれです。
Sure. Guess I couldn't ask then.
嘘をついてしまった。胸が痛みます。
I didn't even know you could lie.
けれど言えるわけがない。
Yes, there is.
私が何をしているのか。
Are you getting more?
買ってきました。
ご苦労。
灰巻紙と青きバラの旋律。ほっほ。このジャンルはつけることがありませんな。
What do you know of this? Oh wait, that's right. I think he does know of this.
ボラルコーチェ、なぜここにいる？
I'm on break.
あ、すいません。一応副長の許可もいるかなって。
何か問題ですかな？
いや、問題などない。私は何らやましいことはしていない。これは日本の文化、日本男児の文化を理解するために大切なこと。そのために夜通し女騎士が凌辱されるゲームをやり込んでいるのだ。
That is the weirdest justification for that I have ever heard. But I'm not surprised.
ほっほ。
隊長はこういうとこかわいいな。
昨日のゲームは全箇所コンプリートした。
Jeez.
辛く苦しい道のりだった。剣の道に生きた騎士ハイロゼットが主を盾に取られ恥辱を受けるシーンなど涙が出るほど悔しかった。
You're taking a very different message away from these games than I think Ouro is.
それ開始5分くらいでしょ？
Wait, how do you know?
もっともその後ハイロゼットは主の目の前にもかかわらず犬に汚らわしいことをされて喜んでいたようで軟弱そのものだったが、日本人男子の喜ぶものが分かったのは確かだ。
絶対あかん方向に突き進んでますね。
騎士長殿はお若いですからな。
今日も勉強です。新しいゲームを仕入れて新しく勉強しなくては。
I'm gonna use that excuse the next time I would really rather play a game than edit or something like that.
今日は最後触手に丸飲みにされて溶かされてしまうエンディングがないゲームがいいな。
Ugh.
初ゲームであれはトラウマですよ
No kidding.
空想とはいえ、あんな残酷なことを思いつくなんて、日本人って怖い。
So, Ella-san is acting really weird lately. Do you have any idea what's going on?
わかりかねますが、エロいのは真面目ですので、
Ah, but the situation is not.
きっとものすごく真面目な理由だと思いますわ。
Yeah, I bet. That made it difficult to stick my nose into her business. What could you do?
金色ラブリッチェ。
Have Rhea stick her nose in her business? Saturday. Clubs buckled down hard on our days off, and students would spend every waking hour at practice. Or rather, that only held true for extremely blessed clubs at some sport-oriented schools.
グラウンドあと10周です。声を出していきますよ。武道場が柔道部の日だから基礎体力のしかできないから
Yikes. Most clubs could not claim space, so everyone ended up killing time with super basic cardio exercises. Unable to get their hands on swords for the days, the fencing club focused purely on tedious exercise. Which is why I ran away.
いらっしゃい。
I knew it. Sylvie had come to the school on her day off as well.
クリスマスに演奏会があるから、それまでに指を鳴らしておこうと思ってね。
Yeah, we know.
自由な時間が取れてよかったわ。自由に演奏できる時間ってあまり取れないから。
A recital, huh? Okay, well, we know. Ouro doesn't know. A celebrity like Sylvie would definitely have a schedule jam-packed with special events over the holiday season. Christmas and whatnot sounded hectic. Are the pieces so difficult that you need to put in the extra practice?
簡単よ。子供でも弾けるわ。
Maybe a child prodigy.
でも練習は大事なの。指に覚え込ませないと。楽譜を追うような演奏じゃいい音が出ないわ。
This whole conversation was completely over my head, like so many other things. As Sylvie read her sheet music,
それで、10日と少しになるわね。エルと恋人をしてもらうことになって。
yeah. It felt like more time had passed, but it had only been 10 days since we started dating.
どう？エルは結婚したくなった？
If I answer yes, I feel like you're going to get really jealous and start playing an aggressive piano piece again. I'm pretty sure that was never the deal.
だったわね。でも、二人、私が思った以上に仲良くなっているわよね。
Well, even if you set aside how Sylvie had instigated us into having our dinners together, we developed a close enough of a relationship to lend her my shower and for me to casually help dry her hair. Not to mention how she had stayed overnight, even if it was an accident.
作戦が成功したかはともかく、なんだか楽しいことになりそうね。
I don't think that means what you think it means. Mission?
なんでもないわ。
Sylvie grinned, clearly acting like her tongue had slipped. Ah, give me a break here. I thought it was weird how pushy you were being to propose all of this in the first place. Do you seriously have some ulterior motive?
怒らないで。
I probably won't be, but I might be confused.
エルのためになることだし、オーラに何かしようということではないの。本当よ。
What a mess. Putting Sylvie's schemes aside, it didn't change the fact that dating Ella was nothing but a huge perk for me. Still. So, what's this mission of yours?
ね。
シルビー様、来てらっしゃったのですか？
I'm guessing fencing practice is done?
ああ、エル。
一言お声かけください。気づかないところでした。
It looked like they had come to school separately, and Ella looked rather panicked.
うわあ、オーロ！
Hello! Yes, hello. She must have not noticed me until then either.
なぜオーロが姫様と一緒に？
Why not?
監禁、脅迫、調教。
Huh?
いえ、疲れているようです。
練習は休憩？ならちょっと3人でいましょうか。
I think you're getting the wrong impression from those games.
はい。
Am I being invited to another one of your concerts? Miss Musician, please set the mood with some background music.
はーい。
Sylvie giggled and let her fingers slide across the keys. Maybe my phrasing had been a little rude just now. Although Ella looked exasperated by my request, she remained silent. If I had made that kind of comment when we first met, she surely would have scolded me. How dare you speak to the princess that way? We were close enough now that I could get away with jokes. As Sylvie jovially ran a finger across the keys.
それでエル、フェンシング、出来はどうなの？
はい、上々です。試合でもなかなかに良い成績を残せそうです。最近ちょっと集中力を欠いていますが。
Why is that?
さあ、試合まであと2週間。それまで目いっぱい打ち込んでちょうだい。
はい。学校生活の良い思い出になります。
Huh? I noticed Sylvie's expression suddenly went stiff. I really shouldn't have been surprised that this brief lapse in emotion hadn't impacted her musical performance, but now that I'd seen it firsthand, it was clear to me how displeased Sylvie was by Ella's comment.
思い出にするのは早いんじゃないかしら。来年だってあるでしょ。
Oh, is Ella planning to leave?
自分は競技者としては3年生でのエントリーですので、来年は引退を余儀なくされます。
Ah, okay.
そっか。でもならスポーツとして続けるなりなんなり。国に戻ってからも続けていいのよ。うちの国はスポーツがあまり強くないから国際競技の選手は多い方がありがたいわ。
それはできません。
どうして？
国に戻れば私は一介の騎士、シルビア様に常にお仕えする従者の一人です。趣味にかまけている暇はありません。
フェンシング、そんなに好きなのに？
仕方のないことです。
そう。
It was on that note that Sylvie went silent and focused on her performance. What was it? The timbre hadn't changed whatsoever. Yet the tone of her notes felt like they had turned icy.
カバレロ様、どこですか？
はーい。シルビー様、失礼します。
We saw Ella off as she headed back to club. Now then, you want Ella to continue fencing, but it sounds like she's got other plans. Does this have anything to do with the mission you mentioned earlier?
オーロは鋭いから好きよ。
It's the one instance. Her fingers stopped. When her performance ended, everything became crystal clear to me when I saw the furious look on her face. Ella's comment had really pissed her off. Ooh. What a rarity. Someone as absent-minded as Sylvie could make a face like that? Everyone's entitled to make their own life choices, especially if they want to keep practicing or not.
本人にあんなに才能があっても？
Talent isn't the issue, but rather how the person feels.
その気持ちでも続けたいと思っていても？
That certainly would complicate things, yes. The way I saw it, I didn't believe that Ella wanted to quit fencing either. It was obvious Ella loved to compete and how much she desperately wanted to continue fencing.
エルはね、いつだってああなの。シルビー様のため、シルビア王女のため、自分の人生を 私のためだけに使ってる。
I can understand why she would be annoyed by that.
あのこと、まだ気にしてるのね。
Hmm? She whispered that last part too quietly for me to make out.
そこで立てたのが今回の作戦なの。名付けてエルが大好きなフェンシングを続けたくなるよう位置に全部任せちゃおう作戦よ。
These titles keep getting more and more complicated. It's like that dish we had the other night with the pasta. What a great, easy-to-follow mission name. It's not a mission, but a complete delegation.
我ながら惚れ惚れとするほど自然な流れでフェンシングの練習に赴くエルに自然とオーロが会いに行くよう仕向けたわ。
I'd argue that a princess forcing us to get married spur of the moment is hardly natural, but I do get your point.
あとはオーロに任せておけばエルもフェンシングの楽しさが身に染みて分かって続けていきたいと思うようになると思うの。どうかしら。
That's why I'm telling you, this is a delegation. I knew what her mission or whatever was now, but she was telling me to change Ella-san's sentiments toward fencing, or put in a grandiose way, her way of life? There were limits on how absurd your requests could get. Just to put this out there, if you're insisting I persuade her, that's out of the question. If I were to tell Ella you should prioritize fencing over Sylvie, then she'd probably get angry with me. We finally had a friendly atmosphere between us, and I didn't want to screw that up. Most importantly of all, if she wanted to quit a sport, then it would be best for her if she followed through. That's what we did. Forcing yourself to keep playing a sport just because other people told you to would be foolish. Or so I thought, but Sylvie flashed me a soft smile and said,
説得なんてしなくていいわ。オーロはただエルのそばにいてくれれば。
Well, we can try, but if she keeps playing through those games, that's gonna be a challenge. Huh?
作戦は順調に進行中よ。
What did she mean? Sylvie giggled at me as I tilted my head in confusion.
オーロがそばにいればエルはこれから先もっともっとフェンシングが楽しくなると思うの。
So you're telling me I should have been running laps instead of being in here?
そうしてフェンシングを今以上に大好きにさせるのが私の作戦。あとは良きところでもうちょっと続けなさいって命令するだけよ。
Ooh.
現時点じゃまだ無理みたいだけど今より大好きになったらエルだって悪い気せず続ける気になるでしょ。
Ah. This sounded relatively passive for something she had called a mission. Would a strategy like that pan out? I had my doubts.
完璧な作戦よ。
Okay.
オーロがそばにいればどんなことでも楽しくて仕方なくなっちゃうはずだもの。
In Sylvie's mind, it was an open and shut case. I hadn't realized just how much people relied on me. I stuck around at the academy even after Sylvie had gone home. This plan of Sylvie's. Setting aside whether it would work out or not, I had no reason to fight her on it. In truth, I was happy that Ella and I had gotten closer as a result. However, it did bug me a little to know that I had been played. What bugged me worse, though, was Sylvie and Ella's relationship. How could I describe it? This development had really reinforced something I'd sensed before. For whatever reason, they were somewhat reserved around one another. It wasn't like they had a poor relationship. They were incredibly close, actually. Although Ella had sworn absolute unwavering loyalty to her, Sylvie's affections for Ella were far greater. In spite of those feelings, there was clearly a rift between them. It felt like they were overly mindful of that gap and were keeping a calculated distance from one another. Why? I knew it wasn't my place, but I was worried all the same.
ねえ、ちょっと君。
Not for you, strange guy. Yes? When suddenly a man spoke to me. Who was he? It was an older man with a friendly smile. I didn't recognize him. But I did notice something.
ちょっと聞きたいんだけど、いいかな？
You just did. He called out and beckoned me over. He was outside the school gates and made absolutely no attempt to come inside. That was when it occurred to me, oh, he came here on a job. What is it? I couldn't ignore him, and that was my way home, so no other choice but to pop over.
いやー、怪しいものじゃないんだけどね。
Not helping your case, guy.
君、市松オーロくんだよね。
He knew my name. He must have done his research and read up on me. Namely, the hot topic currently circulating online, Heroina-san's boyfriend.
いやー、ノーブル学園ってすごいね。ここに来るまででもドキドキしちゃったよ。僕の通ってた学校は昔ながらのオンボロ校舎だったから。
Right. He was beating around the bush and really playing it by the book. Maybe I should go straight for the kill? If you're here to talk about Ella, then I've got nothing to say to you. Sortilege has me bound to secrecy. I may have jumped the gun a little, but I played the "this is an international issue" card. I didn't know who this guy was. I wasn't sure why he was here, but at least he wasn't snapping candid photos of me while we spoke. What's more, he hadn't come onto the school grounds. He was avoiding trespassing. That should mean he shouldn't pick any fights with royalty.
ああ、そうかい。ひょっとして僕の前にも誰かにしつこくされたとか？いや、誤解されちゃってるね。君やカバリエロさんに迷惑かけたいわけじゃないのに。
I'll take your word for it. So what is this then? An interview as part of a gossip column?
本当なら取材費もちゃんと用意してきたんだけど。
So you were gonna bribe me. Well then, please hand me that interview fee. Once you do, I'll let my contacts at Sortilege know I accepted an interview.
ああ、肝が据わってるね、君。おじさんも家庭があるし、世間話ってことでどうかな？ね。
He wasn't backing down, huh? Not only was he persistent, but the fact that he had an interview budget at all meant he was in the business. With that in mind, I'd like some information on my own. The pretend lover strategy Sylvie had devised worked wonders with addressing the candid photos, but it was a double-edged sword that supplied weekly magazines and other legitimate media with tantalizing material. If only it could keep them at bay until the day of the competition, or so I had hoped. But that had apparently been naive of me. Unfortunate. The next thing I needed to consider was the company he worked for. If it was just this one guy, I could probably sidestep him entirely. But if several news outlets and agencies began poking their noses into this, then we'd have more to worry about than just candid photos. Regardless, I could just inform Sylvie and let it become Sortilege's problem.
いくつか聞きたいことがあるんだ。まず君がカバリエロさんの。
If this is small talk, then you can mark me down as no comment for everything.
どうして？もしかして答えにくいこととか？
This person who came to me under the guise of an interview presumed to be too difficult to work with following their first question. Sound about right?
ああ、待って待って。君怖い子だな。
He soon realized how unapproachable I was, but the smirk never left his face. Now was the time. Oh, right. Which publisher do you work for?
え？どうして？
Well, aren't you supposed to start by introducing yourself in these situations? You haven't mentioned any names at all. I went for the second kill. I didn't especially care who he worked for, as it wouldn't make him any less of a nuisance. I lulled him into a false sense of security in thinking this interview would go off without a hitch, and had broken the ice by requesting his credentials. If he had any guilty conscience to speak of, this would be the part where he made a break for it, if he were to actually stick around.
商談者だよ。センテンススプリングって雑誌知ってる？あそこの人間。はいこれ。
He naturally handed me his business card. So he didn't have a guilty conscience? His card listed the name Komiya Esuke. I know I butchered that. An alias? Nah, maybe I was being paranoid.
じゃあこれ以上は怖いから今日はこの辺で。
Huh? You're leaving already?
それだけ受け取ってくれれば十分だから。
Oh. This feels like a trap. He left after handing me his business card. Damn it. He tricked me.
どうしたのですオーロ。
Oh, I guess I wasn't really tricked, but this kind of feels this way. Still, I couldn't very well ignore the feeling in my gut. He had read me and the conversation like a book. I was actively on alert when I approached him, yet I had only learned what he wanted me to know about them. Or rather, they had only told me their assumptions. He had wrapped up all introductions after he handed over his card. It would be tough to ignore him the next time he came around. He had effectively formed a connection with me and Ella.
週刊誌の記者が接近ですか。騎士員の方から出版社に断りを入れましょうか。オーロには近づかないようにと。
Is that possible? He just came by to introduce himself and hadn't arranged for an official interview.
ええ、現時点は声をかけられた程度、講義を入れられる段にありませんが。オーロは学生です。しかもノーブル学園に通う。圧力をかける程度なら十分ですよ。
Oh, I see where you're going with this. Throwing Noble Academy's name around really helped in times like these, huh?
ただ、やはり現時点では講義をかけるにはぬるい。あまり過敏に反応すると、こちらから焚きつけることにもなりかねませんね。
Probably. You mean an oversensitive response would suggest there's something you don't want them to find out?
ええ、そうなると、現在は出版社1社だけですが、他の会社まで呼びかねません。
I'd like to avoid that. If we kicked up a fuss now, it would likely cause a much larger commotion. I could tell just how massive of a nuisance the media could be. So we shouldn't ruffle any feathers yet, right? The guy who came around last seemed sensible, at least. I could probably get through to him now that I'd mentioned Sortilege's name. I desperately wanted to avoid doing anything to attract the paparazzi, namely those who would do anything for a story to make international headlines. I could just ignore them next time.
ですね。
Yeah. He was actually a pretty clever reporter, so I was a little worried he might try to pull a fast one on me next time. To be blunt, I wasn't all that bright. At least we're self-aware. He might extract information from me through idle conversation, and I wouldn't realize it in time. Some sort of information. Oh yeah, before all of that,
何です？
if I were to accept his interview, how would I explain myself? Before I should worry about having information drawn out of me, what information would they even take? Who was I to Ella and to Sortilege as a whole? It was a little late now, but I just realized how trivial my presence was. So first off, I am Sylvie's friend.
そうですね。
This was the official setup we had reported to the police and public security when we first met. So if any of those details got back to the weekly magazines, it shouldn't result in a scandal.
シルビー様の幼馴染でいらっしゃるそうですね。それを公式のものとさせてもらいましょう。幼馴染の縁で、姫様はあなたをノーブル学園に招いた。
A princess's boyfriend found. You sure that'll be alright?
男性のご友人程度ならば問題ありません。シルビー様はクラスの男子全員とも親しいですし。
That's a very good point. If push comes to shove, we can just drag Kikachio into it with us and have her say, I'm friends with everyone. If nothing else, it wouldn't stir up any drama if my relationship with Sylvie were to go public. Which brought us to... What about us? We aren't engaged, I'd assume.
そ
そうですね。
Then, what are we? How close are you and I right now? Suddenly, our faces flushed a bright shade of red. What the heck was I saying? Was that even a question a guy should be asking? I put it out there, so there was no turning back now. I couldn't deny that I'd been thinking about it all the time lately, too.
私とオーロは
Yeah.
ですね。
I know that we're pretend lovers. Until December 17th, right? Ah, so that meant we had only 10 days left. Everything went by so fast. What would happen to us then? What should we do? We really do need to figure this out. Think about it. We'll be in huge trouble if those magazine reports come sniffing around. We need to know what to do if it's put into an article.
そうですね。困ります。どう答えたものでしょうか。
We both froze up. This conversation quickly veered off in an unexpected direction. Neither of us had really given this particular subject any thought. What was to come of us beyond December 17th? Our time as pretend lovers would soon end, and we wouldn't really need to interact with one another. You could call us lovers if you wanted, but it wasn't anything like that when all she really did was treat me to a homemade meal every night. It's not like we'd cut ties completely, as we were both classmates and close friends at this point. Shedding the title of lovers wouldn't pose any major problems. It wouldn't, but... I think I'd like for us to stay this way. Even after the 17th, even if we stop pretending. Actually, I'd really like it if we stopped pretending altogether right here and now. And we became real lovers. I leaned my face toward hers. Ella's eyes widened. Even though she knew what I was after, she didn't run away. Instead, her eyelids slowly drifted shut, and she welcomed me. Our lips joined together. It was our first kiss. Ella's lips were astonishingly soft and squishy to the touch, even though every other word out of her mouth was anything but. I briefly wondered if such fragile lips would break if I put too much force into our kiss, but I didn't back away. Every impact was met with a sweet rebound, with a powerful and almost jelly-like recoil. Weird way to describe it, but okay. Simply being pressed against them gave me chills. A kiss. So this is what they were like. Both of us let out a heated sigh. And then, like so, the rift between our lips was closed even more tightly, crushed together by the force behind their impact. Stuck together? Felt more like they had meshed together. It was as if our lips were being absorbed into one another's. I could even feel Ella kissing me back. But that was as far as it went. In reality, it had probably been less than a minute, but Ella quickly pulled away. Ella.
今日は帰ります。
She up and left. It was to be expected. Ella and I did live in different worlds. I may have jumped the gun a little bit. I was telling her the truth, though. I had fallen for Ella a long time ago. Even though Ella and I lived in completely different worlds, I knew that deep down, I still loved her. And I had no intention of giving up on her. That was a realization I had made long ago. Alright, this is a good spot to stop this episode. So we have come to the realization of how we really feel. And it took a little while, but I guess that makes sense considering the kind of delicate situation they find themselves in, because I mean, I'm sure at a high level this was all part of Sylvie's plans. I like how every single route, maybe except for Reina, is kind of a machination of either Sylvie's planning or Ria's planning. Okay, also Akane. I forgot about Akane. Sorry, Akane. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I do imagine it's going to take a little while for Ella to come around on the whole situation, though, considering she's got that role she feels obligated to fulfill, to be Sylvie's guard. I mean, I'm sure by the end of this route, things will change. She'll be able to realize that, hey, she can have her relationship and she can have her fencing career and she can still be Sylvie's guard. Or something to that effect. I don't know. It's still kind of nice to see. And I actually am enjoying this route for the most part, because I do like Ella's character the more we get into it. She doesn't, in my opinion, have quite as many facets as a lot of the other characters, but I still think she's an interesting character, to some degree. She definitely is very innocent. Well, maybe not after all of those games she played. That had to be a heck of a shock for her, but hey, at least she's not running for the hills every time we get near her, so that's something. Anyway, well, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. It's probably going to be another kind of long one, because that's just kind of how the pacing is going for these. But hey, I am one half of the Bridge Boys, signing off.